hardly surprising that Hollywood is turning it into a major film. But the trouble is, the screenplay rewrites history so that it's the Americans who capture the vital code-breaking machine from the Nazis and not the British.
Action!
The very wet film set in Malta of U-571.
Yeah, first time seeing a black man, ain't it? Get used to it. That's the new world order, baby. Let's go. Come on!
An American company with American talent and, of course, American dollars is making a film that tells the story of how the Enigma code machine was captured. So as far as they're concerned, they can also save the day. Director John Mostow defends his right to rewrite history.
Okay, cut.
If this movie was never made, then the whole story of the Enigma risks slipping away into the footnotes of history. And the most common thing we ever hear about this movie when it's described to people is people go, my goodness, I never even heard of the Enigma. That's an amazing thing.
In fact, it was a corvette like this one called the Abrisha which bombed the real German U-boat U-110 to the surface. A boarding party from the HMS Bulldog found the Enigma machine and vital code book. So experts at the code-breaking centre at Bletchley Park used the information to intercept German orders.
This is Hollywood taking an authentic account and then mangling it, inserting an American involvement, which of course there never was, and completely rewriting history.
Hollywood's hot prospect Matthew McConaughey plays the man who leads the boarding party. He believes in the film's credibility.
This is based in World War II, historical event, and everything that does happen, even though a lot of it didn't happen exactly in this chronological order, if it would have happened, this is how it would have been done.
British heroes will be dismayed to see it's raining, but on the day in 1941, it was broad daylight and sunny. They didn't even get the weather right. Virginia Eastman, BBC News.
Well, the man who actually boarded the German submarine and found the Enigma machine and code books is Lieutenant Commander David Baum. He's in our Southampton studio. Good morning.
Good morning.
Must have been pretty scary boarding that German U-boat. How did you feel at that moment?
Oh, very, very frightened. It was the worst moment of my life, as we went over in a rowing boat, myself in charge and 8 sailors, all about 20, 21, and we literally rowed over. That's all we had in those days. And then one had to go on board, hoping that there was nobody, no Germans on board. And I had to go down 3 vertical ladders to get to the control room. And I had to put my holster my revolver, of course, because I needed 2 hands, and gradually climbed down the ladders. And I'm glad to say, when I arrived at the bottom, there was nobody there, no Germans at all. Just a slight hissing noise, dim lights working, secondary lights working. So I then called my boarding party of 8 sailors down, and we formed a chain up the ladders, along the deck, back to our boat, passing all the books we could find, all the charts, the code books, and of course the famous Enigma machine, which we found in the wireless office.
It's a wonderful story, but how do you feel about the Americans nabbing all the glory in their film?
Well, after being out to Malta and talking to them, they're being very fair. They're going to put in a bit at the end saying that their story is fiction and that the real thing was done by the British in 1941, before the Americans came into the war.
I should think so too. Lieutenant Commander David Baum, thank you very much for talking to us. The British National Party